Hello, y'all. This is part two of part one, right? So my device powered off right when I got to the end of that video. So I'm so sorry. So I had to like charge it up for a little bit and then start the video. So I just got back on the bike. So I went through so much in the first video. So I think I ended at about saying that, okay, for an empathic person, if the man wants the woman to work, basically offer her the option. Okay, like if you want to work at home, I'm open to that. However, if you rather work outside the house, that's okay too. I think that that's kind of optional. I mean, you might not be the type of lady that likes the at home job. However, with this particular gentleman, it's just a mandatory, right? It's kind of not just a mandatory, but a big push for that. So basically, he wants you in the house. Now, remember, I understand what narcissism is, I understand what power and control is. And as human beings, it's not always in your best interest to give too much power and control to other people. But a lot of people will say, well, that's why men and women are single. I mean, but we live in different times now. I mean, there's just a lot more going on. So, as an empath, you'll understand what I'm saying. And I mean, I think it should be the same way for men. I mean, when you're dealing with women, if you're an empathic man, I would just be careful with that early on power and control. And for me, one of the most difficult things is with this particular situation is I've known this man a long time now, right? Over 15 years. But at the same time, when someone's acting narcissistic, they're not accepting who you are because the narcissism requires them to change you. So you got to remember that a narcissist is going to have a big problem accepting who you are. And they're going to have a big problem changing themselves. However, there's just not enough substance there. It's just not enough substance. And sometimes, I mean, when you get around people in person, it could be different. But to be honest, the best place to get to know people, whether you realize it or not, is on the phone. And the reason that is because there's no intimacy, there's no physical contact. You are really getting to know one another because you're communicating, right? So I don't see anything wrong with that. But there was another question. I brought up in the first video about kids and how, in some cases, people just won't have kids, and that's okay. However, this particular gentleman, he never had any. However, with the narcissistic attitude, the acceptance of that is difficult. And one of the problems for empaths is when you're meeting other people and they're acting narcissistic in some of their ways, they want you to give them what they've never been able to have from anyone else. And that's because they're not able to have that particular thing. Not everyone will be created to have children, and that's okay. However, I'm 100 years old. So this gentleman is asking me to have a baby, right? And do you realize that my grandmother's mother died in childbirth? Yes, it was before I was born. My mother was named after my great grandmother. She died having her daughter. Her daughter lived and was just fine. But that was her last baby because she died. So, another thing when people are acting narcissistic in some of their ways, they're not getting to know your family history, right? So, and I was joking when I said I'm 100 years old, y'all, but when it comes to giving birth, that's how I view myself. Now, I've been seeing some of these videos, women are 40 and up having children. And I mentioned that age because 40 and up, sometimes that's kind of like can be the cutoff, or people try to have them a little sooner, but then more people are having them at 40. But still, your life is being threatened. That's fine. A 40-year-old woman can have a baby, but just be willing to accept the possibility and the danger of that. You just as well go bungee jump. Y'all, I'm just joking. Having a baby is not that bad, y'all. But in my situation, there's medical issues that I have. I could have a baby and not be able to walk anymore. I could have a heart attack, right? There's health issues. I was diagnosed with high blood pressure. That's why I be on this bike and I'm walking and I got that 18 pounds off. It don't take nothing but 15 extra pounds to turn your blood pressure up. I mean, seriously, it doesn't take a lot when you have that genetic makeup in the family. And what's really genetic? What's genetic is the weight gain, right? So we got to start getting real about some of these issues. Is it the high blood pressure that's genetic, or is it the way we eat and the way we gain weight? So coming to the realization with some of those issues can help get that down. But, these were the questions. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it can be considered a compliment if I'm 100 years old and you asking me to have a baby. However, it's control. That person's not showing no empathy for me. I've already pretty much raised my children. I don't have babies anymore. No young babies are running around here. So I'm in a position where I would like to help the other children that are in the family that are not my children, but they're related to me and they're minors. I would like to be more involved with the children that are already here. I got plenty of relatives I could be helping out. I got cousins, little cousins, and everything. So I got little cousins that I haven't even met yet that are 5 and under, and these are people that I would like to get to know and meet at some point. However, with the pandemic and everything, things just went by so fast. So that's the thing when you're an empath, it's like you appear to be a good mate, but at the same time, you don't have all these other narcissistic traits that may make someone get in a marriage faster. You're not a gold digger. You're actually looking at their personality. You're intelligent, so you recognize their patterns. You're paying attention to things like when they're trying to make you work at home or make that your only option. Why do I have to just stay at home at work? This man works outside the home, right? So why can't I go out? And it was funny because when we were on the phone and the gentleman said, I want you to work at home, my first response was, I said, I like to go outside. And see, that's a red flag. Like, for me to feel that type of tension where I gotta say, no, I like to go outside. And my family was there. We were actually out in the parking lot out. I mean, I'm out. I'm feeling the air. I'm on the West Coast. We're getting ready to go hang out. We're at the mall. Oh, check this out, y'all. While at the mall, I got swooped over by a gentleman. I guess he's now, I saw some photos now. I saw some photos. I guess he has done Cardi B's hair. And so I was in the mall and I was yanked over and pulled and coerced or whatever you want to call it. And this gentleman flat ironed my hair with a bunch of my real hair, y'all. Um, Complimented how healthy my scalp was. Oh, I just feel so loved. So it's so funny because there's these steam flat irons. I don't even know what I got. I just know I got a bag of stuff that's valued at over $900, right? It's crazy because I was treated by a relative, right? That kind of purchased this stuff for me. So I feel so loved, right? But it just was so funny the way it happened because the whole thing with the debit card and young people not looking at the amount. So I was supposed to spend like $125, but this is steam flat irons. I don't even know what the name of this other thing is, but it's kind of like how they got the steam hair dryers, right? And it's really good for thick, curly, coarse hair. I think everybody's using this steam stuff now, no matter what your hair texture is. But I just wanted to share that with y'all because I just thought about that when I mentioned that I was in the parking lot at the mall. So this was such a funny experience, y'all. It was so cute. It's just so funny. It was fun. I mean, the gentleman, um, he's part of the LGBTQ community, I guess. So the man that did my hair is a gay man, I guess, but he kind of had his little flirt on a little bit. I mean, I maybe he's bisexual. I don't know, but he maybe he's yeah, he's at least gay or bisexual, but he sure was sexy, y'all. I mean, he did my hair up, and I had a let me see, it was my great uncle's son, right? Which would be my cousin, I guess. He was a beautician back in the day. Um, and so, I mean, I had a man in the family that did hair, so, and he was not a gay man. My great uncle's son was not a gay man. My great uncle is my grandmother's brother, of course. But, so it was cool. It was just a funny experience. So anyway, I got and I might do like a video and share the product I got, but this is the stuff that they're using in the salons now. And I mean, it worked really good. I mean, it, kind of got the kinks out and stuff pretty quick. And it's good when you got the curly hair. I mean, I was really happy with it. So, and then I got to pick the colors I wanted. So I ended up, I think I picked purple. Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm in a grieving process. So it was kind of like I treated myself, or I got treated by a relative and treated by the gentleman that just yanked me over. He's like, no, no, no. Next thing you know, I'm being sat in the chair and he's pulling my hair to pieces. And, you know, he was like, you just got the most beautiful long human hair. He was like, you don't need a weave. And it was so funny, just all these compliments, but it seemed like he actually enjoyed, really flat ironing some real hair, because a lot of times he's flat ironing the weave and that's fine, but he's flat ironing human hair weaves, he seemed like he really enjoys working with human hair, whether it be a weave or hair that's actually grown from your scalp. So that was just like his preference, because a lot of the stars when he's doing their hair, he's still flat ironing or working with human hair. It's just a weave, basically, or a wig in some cases, or tracks or lace wigs or whatever. So yeah, that was a fun experience for me that I had yesterday. So getting back into this video, I apologize for that, y'all. I'm on this bike just talking, talking, talking away. But yeah, the way empaths think, I mean, it's just, and a lot of people judge us, you know. I may be judged like somebody might listen to this and be like, oh, she's just missing out on such a good thing. But see, the thing is, I don't really care about this stuff because I value my peace, right? And I'm just not willing to get entangled in no mess. I'm not getting ready to go homeless or be in no bad situation because I move where I already left, depending on somebody else that's acting controlling, right? And it's great to be offering people things and stuff. And another thing, it's great to offer people things, but it's also a little different when you're offering people things that are used to kind of doing for themselves, right? And I don't consider that a weakness, doing for yourself, because all of that stuff I don't really require. And I mentioned in the first video the comment that was made, when I had asked the gentleman, was his cars paid off or whatever, and I just was asking, we've talked about finances before, and he was like, all you got to do is screw. But that's a big thing, because what happens if you don't want to do that? See, you got to ask yourself these serious questions. And the thing with empaths, we're willing to ask ourselves those questions. So when he said that, okay, well, that's all you got to do. Well, hey, he makes it sound real easy. I don't have to work. All I would have to do is screw. But what happens if I don't want to do that? What happens if I don't want to do it as often as he wants to do it? See, here comes the narcissistic abuse. What if it's actually a full-blown narcissist and they're just wearing a mask and offering you this stuff? What if this person, you sign up to not work and they want to give you $2 a week and you can't even buy your coffee no more? What if you're blocked off of all accounts? I've never been in a situation where I didn't have my own income. I just have never been in that situation, right? And so I don't know if that's the best situation for anybody to be in, male or female. So that's the thing with being an empath and finding love, is you're able to process things and think it out. And we're always just going to choose our peace over anything. I'm fine where I'm at. And I always evaluate people, like this gentleman mentions, well, he has a job and he has a home and all that stuff, and he's established back home in the Midwest. However, you have to look at people when they're not even considerate of moving where you're at. See, he doesn't want to move where I'm at because he doesn't want to go homeless, risking himself for me, right? And so you have to look at those situations, because that's another thing with narcissism. They're not willing to put themselves on the line in the way that empaths are. But see, once an empath learns their lesson about putting themselves on the line, we just don't do it no more. And let me see what other issue there was, because I mentioned the music, texting, the family connections that we know, wanted me to work at home. It was something else. Always thinking I'm out with a man or something when I'm usually with my family or something. It was another kind of red flag. I mentioned we could use, like working out together or something like that. He seems to have no hobbies neither. That's another thing about an empath. Empaths, we like hobbies. You gotta show us something that you do. Do you play tennis? You like soccer? You like running? You like riding bikes? You like to dance? What is your hobby? And I'm not talking about addictions. Like some people, they go to the casino, but not everybody that goes is addicted. I'm not talking about drugs and alcohol. Those are not hobbies, those are addictions. But genuine hobbies, what do you do other than going to work? So that's the thing with that. So, because in life, you want to, you don't mind being open to love, but once you know what narcissism is, you just ain't signing up for no crap, right? It just ain't worth it to you. And the thing is, asking me to have a baby and all that crap, and you got to really look at that. When somebody's asking you that and you 100, I'm gonna keep saying that, y'all. I'm 100. That's lacking empathy. What would happen if I died, y'all? No more videos? Who gonna take care of the baby? And he 100 too. See, these are serious things. And we're just getting too mature in life to be putting your, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm on this bike, y'all. We're too mature to just be risking ourselves like that, and I'm trying to look forward to a future with saving some money and stuff like that. You don't want to go through what you already went through. What if I had a baby with this man and he passed away? Now I'm a single parent again. See what I mean? You got to really, really consider your life, because narcissists don't think about your life, y'all. Narcissistic people don't think about your life. And that's the difference between now and the past. To think about yourself. I'm not selfish. It just has to make sense to me, right? And I'm very big on the way people talk to me, right? And I don't cut no slack. You can donate some money, but when he said, well, all you would have to do is screw. I'm not no object. I'm not no machine. You just don't talk to no woman like that. But he's the kind of man too. He has this funny, crazy sense of humor. A lot of what he does as a joke. And some of the stuff he says is quite funny, y'all. Like, it's some hilarious stuff that he says. Some of it's relating to religion in a way, just expressing his views about religion. His mother is a religious woman, and she always suggests that he get closer to the Lord. But at the same time, like he told me, you think you're going to change me? See, that's a red flag too. Anybody that challenges you that way, they're telling you up front, you're not going to change me. So if you have a religion and you're looking for someone that's believing in a higher power and a most high and all of that and the Lord, and the person telling you what you think you're going to change me, they already rejecting any form of spirituality. And really, that's the main key for an empath that's a believer. That's going to be the foundation of your relationship. That's why your other relationships didn't work. Usually, these narcissists are not really real believers as far as like really being able, even if they do believe, they're gonna have a power struggle with that. They're in a power struggle with the Lord, and they're gonna have difficulty being obedient to those rules because narcissists are rule breakers, right? So in spirituality and religion, there's some rules, and you're going to be tied up with the same thing you were in the past. So I'm going to stay where I'm at. I'm happy in the state that I'm in. I wouldn't mind going back home, hanging out with the gentleman and my brother and my sister-in-law, like we all go out to eat, have a good time, but I just don't see anything else happening further than that. It's nothing wrong with having good relations with people and getting along, networking. Especially when you're dealing with people that have donated and given to you, you have good conversations, but everybody's not meant to be your husband or your wife, right? Okay, so just because you're cool with people, you're just meant to be good friends. That man's not no married man. Oh, and then another thing, narcissists with the supply. They're always kind of like in and out of a relationship. And y'all, I'm big. I'm a spiritual picker upper. So I'm able to think about things like this. This gentleman has been in the same house since I've known him. I mean, he's owned this house and been in the same house. He's been married in that house. He's had several girlfriends in that house. And I don't know, I'm kind of funny, y'all. I'm an empath. I don't want to be laying up in no bed that 8 to 10 other chicks have been in, right? And you probably thinking, well, what about you, advanced insight woman? Well, this is the thing with that. This place that I've been in, I've been here several years, right? And I went no contact with the narcissist pretty much. And there was some phone contact and some other contact, never any contact in this house. That narcissist never came in this house since I've been here. And I'm not the type of woman that's like jumping around. I'm not on Kendra G trying to find love. And I'm not downgrading nobody that does it. However, I just think that you should consider that being kind of a lazy way of finding love. I watch Kendra G shows, right? I think I even set up a playlist here. I was even watching one where I'm gonna add it to my Kendra G playlist, right? And it's gonna be like the second video on my playlist where the lady that was on there, she got shot 9 times, I think she said, and she's in a wheelchair. So there was this situation with Kendra G, not to change the subject, but I just want to say this. There was a situation with Kendra G saying, okay, you want to roll back for the camera, and the lady got pissed off, because, normally Kendra G say walk back, but I guess Kendra G said she was trying to be considerate. She didn't want to be rude and say, okay, walk backwards so you can get on the Kendra cam. So she said, you want to roll back? And the lady went off, She was like, roll back? You could be rolling tomorrow, Kendra G, or, I'm something like that, to that effect. I don't think she said Kendra G, but you could be rolling tomorrow. Well, she might have said Kendra G. I don't know. But Kendra G, I don't think she said it on purpose, but I could kind of see the lady feeling funny about it. But Kendra G, she's funny though, y'all. She's something else. But the show is interesting. I'll add that to my playlist. But I'm just pointing that out because when I be looking at the show, because it kind of reminds you of Kevin Samuels, but Kendra G is not so abusive. But it's like the female version of Kevin Samuels, but she actually went on the Kevin Samuels show before when he was alive, y'all. So, that was interesting seeing that. But and her show is interesting to me. However, I just think that when I look at some of those people, I see laziness. I see they're allowing themselves to be exploited. I wouldn't get on a show and answer no woman's question asking me how many children I got and how many dads and how many times you've been married. That is my personal business. Does that really have a lot to do? Ask me who I am, like who is my nature? What is my personality? What is my belief system? You know, it's just a lot of people, they're just not people just talk too much now. They're just exploiting themselves. And it's not like that's their YouTube channel. You're on somebody else's show where she's in the power and control position and you just answering all these questions for what? Because that's just like online dating. I mean, all them narcissists gonna be trying to get with you too. It could potentially be dangerous, but I just believe it's a lot of laziness involved. You got people sitting up in the house. One lady on the Kendra G show was going to sleep, y'all, waiting on the Kendra show to answer. So stuff like that. Could she be sleeping if she was out at a restaurant waiting on a date? No. So I still believe in meeting people in person. It may work for some people. The show is cool, but it does make you laugh, Some you got to get a laugh out of some of that too. But and like I said, I don't have nothing against Kendra G. I think she's a beautiful woman, but I love her little faces that she makes. It's so cute sometimes when she does the surprise look or whatever. But yeah, anyway, I mean, that's another thing with empaths. I mean, I'm not narcissistic enough where I'm just that desperate, y'all. I'm at enough peace with myself. I mean, empaths actually had a capability to stay single to the day they die and be in a lot of peace on their death date, right? So I have that capability. I have that gift. It is a gift. Despite what you hear on YouTube, you're just an old lonely lady, you ain't got no man, you're an old lonely man because you ain't got no woman. Despite what you hear on YouTube, in my opinion, it's actually an empathic gift to actually be able to stay single and be content with it and be at peace on your death date and not be desperate and understanding that there's so much more to life than just a relationship. I think that's a gift. I do. I don't think you're a bad person because you have that mindset. But it's also a gift and a blessing if you do have a mate, if that makes sense. But so often times or many times, so often in so many situations, a lot of relationships hinder people more than they make them grow. So this is just my views on the empath and, dating, finding love, and just kind of opening up. You can leave some comments if you like of your opinions, if you have any questions. But I just wanted to share this with you so you can be careful too, because I like to bring awareness to and just explain circumstances that I go through. So watch these red flags. And don't ever sign up for nothing that just ain't you. You know yourself, right? Just like I know myself, right? And I know that I'm a person that I like options. When I say options, I like to be around people that allow me to have options. Like, okay, you want to work outside the home? You want to work at home when we get married? I like those options. And I'm not going to try to fit in a space that I don't fit in because I know I'm not going to be happy. And I'm at peace now. So why would I put myself in an unhappy situation when that's going to break my peace? Peace is something that a lot of people do not have in their marriages. They have marriages, but they don't have peace. And I'd rather have peace. Finding some money, that's nothing. I mean, I'll find some money. But they always say, well, like on one show I was watching, well, by the time you retire, you need $1 million or however much you need. Who knows if I would even live that long to need that amount of money? The Lord will make a way financially. Married or not, you're going to have your needs met. You are and I am too. So I just put that energy out there. Just stay out of debt. Don't have 8 cars, right? So, I mean, yeah, you're going to need $1 million because you got all this debt. But what about going into your retirement in a tiny house with no car and a bike outside? Would you need $1 million then to make it? Just consider that, focus more on cleanliness versus how much you got. I mean, because you can make something feel like you're in $1 million mansion too. So I'm almost 37 minutes in on this video, and this is part 2 of part 1. So these are just my views about how empaths think when it comes to dating and finding love. Some of our pet peeves, some of my pet peeves. If you're an empathic person, you're going to instantly resonate with some of what I'm saying, and you're going to understand, especially the I'm not a gold digger spirit. And so that is the hardest thing with empaths, is that we give people chances, but you just can't buy us. You just can't buy us. I mean, our peace and freedom and our right to do what we want to do will override some of these relationships. I don't have 1 million subscribers, but this gentleman might not even want me to do a YouTube channel. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't want to put myself in that situation, and I'm doing a YouTube video and you hear this man, hey, didn't I tell you to get over there at the computer? I told you working at home, woman. You better sit down over there at that desk and work at home. You cut that advanced insight video off now. You be like, Lord, what she done got herself into? And that's what I see. I mean, I just see the writing all over the wall. And you better be pregnant right now. You better be having my baby right now. I don't care if you 100. And I ain't losing no weight, and I ain't praying with you. I ain't doing no spirituality. This is the writing that's on the wall. And you better not have your brother come over here. I'm going to jump on your brother. The nightmare coming. See, between part 1 and part 2, the red flags are there. And your family member got to do homeschool too. Can't none of y'all leave this house unless I say so. The color purple, y'all. You remember, mister? See, I ain't trying to get involved in no situations like that, and I see the signs just obviously there. And no matter what, anybody that lacks in their spiritual life is capable of the mocking I just did, the imitation or whatever. So just be careful, y'all. And I got this latte that I'm drinking now, and my ankles and feet are hurting, not hurting, but the muscles are moving. I'm on this bike, and Y'all, I feel like my feet is shrinking. I don't know what it is, but boy, my feet getting stronger. Well, not stronger, they getting littler by the day. I've always had small feet, like childlike feet, but it's like, my goodness, but the thing is, y'all, lotion and moisture. Okay, so you need to lotion the bottom of your feet too. There's some kind of moisture that needs to be implemented. Don't leave that part of the body out. So make sure, go get you a good pedicure, get your feet done, and get all that stuff straightened out, because sometimes the bottom of the feet, you may just neglect it for a week or two. And as we age, certain things just shrink and dry out. And I think your feet is one of them, y'all. I really do. I think I'm losing my feet. But I keep on some big shoes, slide resistant shoes, and I just keep it moving. So anyway, I love y'all. I hope you enjoyed the video. And please leave a comment. I love your comments. I appreciate your comments. I respond to comments, and I even click like to your comment, and I'll put a heart on it. And yeah, just please leave a comment and like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you enjoy part 1, and this is part 2 of the empathic view of finding love. So, bye.